Hello, everybody. I am not Markiplier. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the collective. I am Dale Salvador, and today we are going to be reacting to the new Knocked Loose because why the hell not? That's actually really quiet. I'd rather have that back on. Air conditioner. All right. Maybe on a low though. Maybe on a low. The mic should be able to pick it up, at least not a lot. All right. So reacting to this today. I'm a big fan of a lot of metal and rock stuff, but not necessarily a lot of the recent stuff. So, I'm hoping that I heard a little bit of Slaughterhouse with Chris Motionless from Motionless in White, and I remember I liked it. I just kind of was like, oh, this is not terrible. Actually, it seems very promising, and there's very little metal bands of this style that I like. I think it was only like a couple tracks, not even a couple albums that I like. So hopefully, we get some cool stuff. This is making its rounds lately on the internet. Like everyone seems to be very pleased with it. So obviously it's really good. Whether that be for doing the same tropes over and over again, or doing some cool outside the box shit. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking very white. So yeah, let's turn off. Can I? Does that help? No, that doesn't. It's too bright in here. Anyways, alright. First track is Thirst. We're gonna go with we're gonna start this now. Let's turn it down. Actually, I do want to turn that off. Okay, that's off now. Interesting start. Kind of reminds me of the intro to Roots Bloody Roots by Sepultura. And there it goes. Alright. Different screams, alright. Good bopping rhythm. It's a bit harder to get into the groove of that, but like, I'm sure once I give it a few more listens, that part would be very, very nice. The guitar tone is so... How I don't know if I like the guitar. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like the guitar tone. I mean, it sounds good to hear, but like I usually prefer to hear more of the chords and it not be this distorted. That was good, very good. I'm not blown away yet, but it was very good. Now we got Piece by Piece. All right, it's a decent riff. Nice little drum flares here and there. Alright, nice slowdown. I thought that part over here was a bit stereotypical. Nothing special about that part. But this is good right here. Alright. Good. Bit more dry than His vocals are really high up there. I can definitely appreciate that. This is a good groove too. Yeah, it's really hard to sing that high and forceful and just scream like that. It's like very easy to blow out your vocal cords like that. So I'm surprised you can do that. All right. Nice impact. Is that... It doesn't have one more change up. It might have something else at the end. Maybe not. So I feel like there's some stuff about this track that's good, not like when was it over here, I think? Yeah, like this part. Like this is the only part where I'm kind of like, all right, I've heard this like 1,000 times, you know, whatever, you know. Everything else is pretty good, you know. I would like some more melody in the rhythms and the chugging. Like it's just rhythm, and I would prefer if we had some, again, more melody, more intelligible notes in that, and it's not just the same note in that chug repeated over and over. But it's all right. It's still good. Oh, Poppy is on this one. Okay, interesting. Nice double bass. That part's cool. Damn. I haven't listened to a lot of Poppy, but I didn't know she could scream like that. This reminds me of Black Dresses a little bit. I thought this is cool. The background vocals and all that. That's a good rhythm. Man, that's high. Damn. The problem I tend to have this kind of metal is that I don't know what genre this is. I'm not I'm not as well versed in modern metal because I tend to not like a lot of it. So I'm just, you know, not as knowledgeable on certain things. From the shortness of these tracks, I think it's some kind of offshoot of like hardcore punk or something. But like the problem I have with these songs a lot of the time, these kinds of songs, whatever genre this is, that's been really popular the last couple years, is that I mean, you can have songs that have this many changes be really, really good and really entertaining with the like, uh, really catchy more so. The problem is that like when you're making all those different parts, every single part has to be like out of the park, really good, right? And what tends to happen is you have all these parts. Some are okay, some are meh. A lot of them are good, but it's mixed in with a lot of it's mixed in with all these other parts that are not as good, and the parts that are good are not out of this world stellar. So, like, I can listen to this when it comes on. I might even put it on maybe for wallpaper sometimes, but like, I wouldn't choose to go back to this for the music. It's not necessarily grabbing me off. There's no track where I'm like, oh man, I can listen to this on repeat for a bit because the song itself is so good. It's just a general vibe and certain moments that are enjoyable. And I think this album is, so far at least, it's enjoyable and entertaining, but for me the replay value isn't there entirely. It's really close though. And that's that one. Next will be Don't Reach For Me. All right. I've heard this a lot. Those triplets on the kick drum are really impressive. This for me is the worst one so far. It's pretty generic and nothing's really grabbed me at all. That's kind of cool. The guitar work in the back is pretty cool. Doge. Album of the year for this? I wouldn't say that. This is a nice bass and drum part. This is really cool. That was really cool with the guitar. Nice scream, nice fill, nice different chug sound. Or is that a scratch up the harmonics, or not harmonics, up the pickups? Meow, meow, meow. It feels like what's happened is when they're writing the song, because I do this sometimes when I write my songs, is it's really generic for the first little bit, and they have this really cool part, and they go, you know what, we have this part that's really cool, we're gonna put it in the same song that has this really generic part, because like we can't think of anything to do here, but we have a part that's really cool, that's like that, it's probably might be one of the cooler ones for the album, so we'll put it in the same song, so it kind of offsets that, and then you and then it kind of gives the song more of a reason to be here on the album, or wherever we want to put that on the album, to be written at all, etc., etc. And yeah, I like the drum pace. I like the bass and drum part a lot, but the first bit, and now more here too, it's just kind of, you know, that part's nice. The melody or rhythm, I guess, and the when the chorus drops. And again, good triplets. I don't see here. Okay, here's a little psychology for you. Music theory, psychology stuff. The reason why a lot of songs are catchy and are good, the best, the catchiest melodies and the catchiest songs are because of the rhythm. And there's a rhythm that is somewhere in the song, whether it can be going between back and forth between the drums and the melody and the drums. It can be going back and forth and around the arrangement and the orchestration between different parts, and the rhythm is barely shifting. It's about the same rhythm throughout the entire song. It might be different melody, but the rhythm is still the same, or maybe it's the same part repeating over and over and over. And that's because that the reason why those songs are really catchy is because your brain likes falling into patterns. So when you have music like this, where they are purposely trying to throw you off every few seconds, it's not appealing to it's naturally not going to be appealing in a way, because your brain's constantly trying to find the one or catch a groove or make sense of the pattern, and it's constantly changing. So for certain songs, like the first couple of ones, where the patterns are more simple and it's not changing as much, you can have it change a lot because the rhythm is a lot simpler to understand. But the second you have more complex parts, you're gonna need more time to understand what's going on in those parts. So when it changes in like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, it's not enough time. And just when you get used to it, it switches. And I mean, I'm sure if I listened to this album like several times, I would get the parts, right? And I would know the rhythms, I know where the drops are and all that kind of stuff. But I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to I shouldn't have to like sit with music and kind of do like a Stockholm syndrome thing, and because maybe it's good after that amount of time. It could still be not good. It just depends, right? It's a good part. Decent. Nice guitar things at the end. Nice fade back in. Now we have Moss Covers All. The shortest track on this album, so I'm going to restart it. And when they're not changing it too much, you get just the same pattern I hear everywhere. With the blast beats or whatever you want to call them. They're just straightforward patterns. Interesting. Nice versatility of screams. It's the same guy. Oh, no, Take Me Home. I guess this is a different song. Why not make it one song? Like they clearly, like, I don't know. These are clearly the same song. I don't know why you got to be split up. I mean, because they're not split up for. It's not like it's like different suites or something like that, you know. And it's not. I don't know. Like I can make a stretch to connect. Don't reach me for me and Moss covers all, because it is a very obvious like segue. But there's no reason Take Me Home cannot be just part of Moss Covers All. No reason this can't be one song. This is really good though. This is really cool here though. Nice cross sticks. They even said Moss Covers All in the lyrics. Not really. Started off pretty good, but now we're just kind of whatever. I think it just passes because the intro was really good. What's that? Interesting. And now Slaughterhouse 2 with Chris Motionless. The vocals are very consistent, and again, I'm very impressed that he can be that high and that loud and powerful and that screamy and distorted. Like consistently too, like it's like, especially if you can do it live too, that's hard to keep up and not like blow your voice out pretty immediately. Interesting. I also find that, and on the topic of that because of that, his voice, it's kind of very one note throughout a lot of this album. Quite literally. Like, I feel like I've heard this part like so. I feel like I've heard this part like 20 times now on this album. Even the vocals were like, like kind of go, they go up and back down again in the same way. I didn't catch the lyrics here. Maybe I should read them over. I heard something about like the lower class or something. Obligatory bleh. Gotta have it somewhere on here. Alright, the calm that keeps you awake. This is a cool part. And they're gonna ruin it. Oh, maybe not. What are those sounds? Somewhat tribal. It's kind of, again, it's kind of Sepultura-ish again. Yep, yeah, we have the same rhythm again. It's like as before, so the type of trying to offset their more uninspired moments with their more creative moments. Vocals are starting to get really stale to me now, to be honest. Nice little vocal there. Nice background vocal. That's a good chorus. More diverse vocals, alright. Okay. This is pretty good. The best song since one of the earlier ones. Remember the best song on the album, actually. It's pretty good. I think that is the best song here so far. Because even the parts where they're pretty generic, they're doing some different stuff in that genericness slightly. It wasn't the exact same, like, you know, rhythm where it's like one bass snare, two bass snare, one bass snare, two. It wasn't like the exact same thing. Like, wasn't exactly the same, but, you know, it was just enough to be fresh. And then they had the other cool parts there that were really cool with the in the tribal, weird tribal almost instruments. The grooves and breakdown were a lot better on this one so far. Not as chaotic and all over the place either. It was more focused. Where'd what the fuck? Where'd my playlist go? Alright. Blinding Faith. And more of those tribal clappy things. Nice back and forth the vocals. I'm getting kind of bored with this, to be honest. These parts are pretty good. All right. Oh, cool guitar stuff, and it's gone. No, there it is. And it's gone. Nice slowdown. They had a decent, a really good build up here, then they ruined it with that weird fill before it and the tempo change. Yeah, you're as well. Gotta get that again, like the blade. Gotta get that somewhere in here. I'm getting those weird, like, clacking things. Kind of reminds me of Art of Dying by Gojira a little bit. Just a little. This part's okay. Last song, Stood and Mourn. The longest one on the album at 4, almost 5 minutes. Can we have lawn music back again? That'd be nice. Huh? Well, there it is. Definitely came in forcefully, I guess. Those ghost notes, I think, on the snare. Sounds different and quieter. I think those were ghost notes. Cool drum part. Vocals are getting really boring now. Nice layering, I guess. Uninspired blast beats, very boring. This part is kind of cool. I will say the blast beats, just because how my problem with blast beats usually is that they're very poppy and they're very like in your face and very separate. Usually they're usually the loudest thing in the mix by far, and they don't sound fucking good at all. But when they're like this, where it's more mixed in everything else, it's a lot better. I hate blast beats where the snare is very poppy and loud, and the ride cymbal is very also loud. I don't know why I can't get Mars Volta out of my head with his vocals, but I feel like I've heard his vocals before somewhere, and just not as screamy. This is pretty interesting and cool, I guess. I'm getting really tired. I can't even freaking hold my microphone anymore. Too tired for that. I got a slouch now. This instrumental's kind of cool, I guess. It's a decent, like, like ending kind of part. I have no idea why people are considering this for album of the year. I really don't know. I don't know why they're considered for album of the year at all. So here's the thing, right? Here's a little summing up review section. So I think they're doing some creative things here and there, but there's a lot of parts that are kind of generic. Everything that I can praise, they do so much it gets stale really fast. Like the vocals were really cool at first, and they just kind of were the same thing. It didn't really change, so it got really boring. A lot of the parts were really cool, but then they changed them too fast, and they could have easily gotten way more mileage out of those parts rather than just 20 seconds on a like a half hour long album. The features were good. I don't know. It had its own sound, I guess. Everything felt pretty cohesive sonic wise. You had a lot of these tribal parts here and there. With these weird tribal-esque clapping instruments, whatever. I don't know what those are called, but whatever those are pretty cool. It's very, especially for the drummer and the vocalist. The guitarist, really hard to play. Like, it's definitely, you gotta be talented to play this kind of stuff. But I'm not gonna revisit this, like, not at all. I like a lot of these riffs probably could have been even way better if they weren't just the same, 0 0 0, just chug chug chug. Like they could have had some more notes in there, maybe some tritones, just something. But it's just the same, like it's this it's, I don't know. It's just, it's really close to being. It's close to being. It's close to being above average. I think it's average. There's some things there's parts that I don't think is average. Some parts that I think is a little stereotypical. And although they do have, I can set this apart from other bands, which is this day and age, big compliment because a lot of them tend to sound the same, and that's mainly because of the vocalist. Like I know that vocalist when I hear him, so that's a plus. But again, I feel like with all the good I can say, it's just outweighed by just despite how short this album is, it does feel drawn out by the end. There's no reason why Moss Covers All and Take Me Home can't be one song. Don't Reach Me, the track before, you could easily have done as well with how tied in the segues into Moss Covers All. I mean, maybe in a live setting this would be better, maybe, because I think like the chaos of it, and it is very entertaining. I can say that for sure. Like it's doing enough right that something like Dillinger Escape Plan I couldn't do, because every single part is not really that great, and it's changing all the time. On top of that, even with these songs, the songs, even though they're changing a lot, it's not changing too much, and a lot of the parts are, there's some bad parts, but a lot of them are just decent. Some of them are pretty good. So it's not as bad as it could be. It's definitely, there's enough parts that are at least decent, so it can keep you engaged for a long time. But if, let's say, all the parts were pretty bad, I don't think you could get away with this with an album even 20 minutes long short. Like, I feel like it'd be like I'd be over it by the end of the first song or second song or third song. I feel like I would personally give this like maybe like a, I don't know, like a 5, I guess, maybe a 6. I don't know, 5.5. I don't know. I give it a 5. I mean, like, if you're gonna nominate an album for an album of the fucking year, it shouldn't be a 5. And well, okay, that's my opinion, so I shouldn't judge it off that. Let me rephrase and let me redo this. If you're gonna have an album for album of the year, it should be able to stand on its own. I feel like this is doing. I can see people giving it credit for subverting expectations and doing some things creatively compared to other albums in the scene, but if you're really good at subverting expectations, but your product is still not a phenomenal, talented product, it's just not good. I shouldn't have to go, oh, this album is a 6, but it's a 10 because it's doing something different than this other one. It's like, well, no, it's still not good. I think that's more of a bias than a you shouldn't an art shouldn't be considered better because you're comparing it to some other art. Like on its own, is it phenomenally catchy all the way through? No. Is it all over the place? Not really. It's part of the style for it to be all over the place, but it could definitely be more unfocused. It's focused enough so I can say, that's good about it. Is it like talent, like skill wise, is it hard to play? Yeah. But is it done in a way where it's enjoyable to listen to? Not all the time. There's some parts that it's enjoyable, some parts that aren't. A lot of the fills are not. I feel like some of the fills kind of destroy the build-ups or the momentum. I feel like I lost my train of thought. I feel like the guitar work could be better. Could have some more notes in there. I don't know. I feel like it's switching up a bit too much at certain times and not switching up enough other times. It's just, this is not the mark of a album of the year really good album. It just isn't. I think that's gonna be it for me. I guess I don't have much more to say unless I start repeating myself over and over. I've been going so I'm not gonna do that this time. And yeah, that's gonna be it. I think I'm gonna settle on a 5 or 6 for this. I still can't decide either one. 6 feels better, so I'll say 6 and be generous, I guess. All right, that's gonna be it for this one. If you liked, then press the like button. Do whatever you want. If you don't like it, press the dislike button. I don't know. Be honest with yourself. If you want to subscribe if you want. I try to look at music that is more, I won't say indie, but I try to look at artists and genres that don't that get shafted a lot, and you could use more recognition, because most people tend to go after the big artists and the currently releasing albums. So I like to go back and listen to some artists and genres that could definitely be looked at again. I feel like they're overlooked for one way or another. I'm also going to release my own music soon at some point, so if you want to stick around for updates on that, feel free to do that as well. That's gonna be it. So yeah.